I've always been fascinated by the idea of the wild. You know, that place people talk about when they want to sound deep and connected to the earth. In America, the wild usually means a national park where the Starbucks is a whole 10 minutes away and you have to use a slightly slower 5G network. It's nature, but with an escape hatch. So I decided I needed the real deal. I wanted to go somewhere so remote, so untouched, that my phone would become nothing more than a very expensive, very useless brick. That place, my friends, was Botswana, a country where the animals don't check their Instagram notifications, and the only tweets come from actual birds. It was time to trade skyscrapers for acacia trees and traffic jams for elephant crossings. The plan was simple: venture deep into the heart of southern Africa to experience its legendary wilderness. I packed everything a seasoned city slicker thought he'd need. Bug spray that promised to repel anything short of a charging rhino, a fancy camera I barely knew how to turn on, and of course, a deeply ingrained, almost pathological fear of anything with more than 4 legs. I was ready. Or so I told myself. The reality is, nothing prepares you for a place where the food chain is not just a concept from a biology textbook, but the live action drama happening right outside your tent flap. This wasn't just a vacation, it was an audition for a survival show I had accidentally signed up for. My journey was set to take me through the holy trinity of Botswana's landscapes. First stop, the Okavango Delta. Now, if you've never heard of it, picture this: a river that decided halfway through its journey to the ocean, you know what? I'm tired. I think I'll just stop here. And so it did, creating a massive inland delta, a labyrinth of shimmering lagoons, winding channels, lush islands right in the middle of the Kalahari Desert. It's like nature's most exclusive, waterlogged country club, and the membership is mostly hippos, crocodiles, and a million birds who clearly got the memo about the great real estate. We traded our safari truck for a mokoro, which is basically a traditional dugout canoe. It's the Venetian gondola of the bush, only your gondolier is poling you past things that could eat you. Our guide, a man named Witness, who could spot a leopard in a tree from a mile away, he glided us through the reeds with a grace I could only dream of. Meanwhile, I was sitting there, stiff as a board, trying not to make any sudden movements. Every splash, every rustle in the papyrus sent my heart into my throat. Americans think they know stress. They think rush hour traffic is stressful. I'm telling you, you haven't known true anxiety until you're floating in a tiny boat and realize the 2 rocks you just passed have ears and are now staring at you. Hippos. The cuddly-looking yet notoriously grumpy superstars of the Delta. After the serene, watery world of the Delta, we headed north to Chobe National Park. If the Okavango is a tranquil spa, Chobe is the rowdy, all-you-can-eat buffet next door. This place is famous for one thing above all else: elephants. And not just a few elephants. We're talking about the largest concentration of elephants on the entire continent. It's less of a park and more of a gigantic elephant convention center. You don't go looking for elephants in Chobe, you go looking for a brief moment when you're not surrounded by them. They are everywhere, crossing the road, drinking from the river, kicking dust over their backs. They own the place, and they know it. Our first game drive in Chobe was a lesson in humility. You're in this big, tough-looking 4x4, feeling all-powerful, and then a 7-ton bull elephant decides he wants to cross the road right where you are. And you wait. You don't honk. You don't flash your lights. You turn off the engine, sit in respectful silence, and hope he's in a good mood. I watched a whole family, from the giant matriarch to a tiny, clumsy baby, amble past our vehicle, so close I could see the wrinkles around their ancient eyes. It was awe-inspiring. It was also a stark reminder that in this world, we were just guests. Badly dressed, slightly panicked guests, but guests nonetheless. Before I went to Africa, my idea of a safari was shaped entirely by Hollywood. I expected something out of The Lion King, but with more khaki. I thought I'd be riding in a pristine, open-top Jeep, wearing a spotless white linen shirt. A gentle breeze rustled my hair. In my mind, a lion would appear on a scenic cliff, pose majestically for my photo, then politely go about its day. Animals perfectly spaced, one by one. Giraffe, check. Zebra, check. Warthog, maybe not too close. The reality is nothing like that. The linen shirt, 5 minutes before it's covered in dust. Sunscreen and a suspicious smear, hope it's just mud. Selfie, exhausted, dusty, slightly forced smile. The gentle breeze, a blast furnace of hot air, or a non-existent dream. The animals haven't read the script, they don't care about your photo op. They're busy, they're hunting, they're sleeping, they're eating, they're avoiding being eaten, or standing behind a very inconvenient bush. You spend hours driving on bumpy, dusty tracks, scanning the horizon for any sign of life, less of a movie, more of a slow, hot reality TV show. Each night in the bush, my home was a canvas tent. Now when Americans hear camping, they might picture a cozy cabin or a giant multi-room tent with an inflatable mattress and a portable power station. This was not that. This was a classic safari tent, which is, a polite way of saying it's a thin layer of fabric separating you from a continent full of things that bite, sting, roar. My tent was my little kingdom, my fortress of solitude. And every single night it became the site of an epic one-sided war against the deadliest creature in Africa, the mosquito. You see, I had come prepared. I had sprays with enough DEET to melt plastic. I had special wristbands. I had those little plug-in things that emit a mysterious vapor. I was the Iron Man of mosquito repulsion. But the mosquitoes of Botswana, they are a different breed. They are not merely pests, they are tiny winged ninjas with a PhD in finding the 1 square inch of skin you missed. The nightly ritual was a frantic dance of zipping up the tent, followed by a 10-minute hunt for the one mosquito that inevitably got in. It was me, armed with a headlamp and a rolled-up magazine, against a foe I could barely see. I usually lost. Beyond the mosquito menace, there was the challenge of sleep. After the lush greenery of the Delta and the animal traffic jam of Chobe, we journeyed to the Makgadikgadi salt pans. Imagine a place so flat and so vast that you can actually see the curvature of the earth. Now imagine it's covered in a crust of white shimmering salt. That's Makgadikgadi. It's the remains of a super lake that dried up thousands of years ago, leaving behind one of the largest salt flats in the world. For most of the year, it is a landscape of profound, almost aggressive nothingness. It's so empty, it feels full. It's the kind of place that makes you question your own existence in a good way, mostly. Driving onto the pans is a surreal experience. The vegetation disappears, the horizon dissolves into a hazy mirage, and all sense of scale is lost. A rock in the distance could be a pebble or a boulder. Your brain, so used to having reference points, just kind of gives up. Our guide drove us out into the middle of this shimmering white sea and then just stopped. We got out of the truck, and the silence was absolute. It was a silence so deep, it had weight. We laid out our sleeping bags right there on the salt pan, under a blanket of stars so bright and numerous it felt like you could reach out and touch them. Lying there, staring up at the infinite cosmos from the surface of what feels like another planet, is an experience that fundamentally recalibrates your soul. Let's talk about the predators. Because let's be honest, that's what everyone wants to hear about. Did you see a lion? How close did you get? Were you scared? Yes, absolutely, profoundly yes. My first proper lion encounter was not some majestic National Geographic moment. We found a pride of lions, bellies full, lounging under a tree. They were basically giant, murderous house cats. They yawned, showing off teeth that could shred a tire. They rolled onto their backs, twitching their paws. One was cleaning itself with the same focused intensity as my cat back home, except this one had just finished eating a zebra. It's one thing to see a lion in a zoo. It's another to be 10 feet away in an open vehicle with only a few feet of air between you and the king. You make eye contact. It's chilling. There's intelligence, calm, confident power that looks right through you. It's not malice, it's just assessment. The lion's gaze. You are slow, you are soft, you are made of meat, but I just ate, so today is your lucky day. You realize your place in the natural order, several rungs lower than you thought. So, what did I learn from my bumbling journey through the wilds of Botswana? Did I become a rugged, fearless explorer? No. I'm still the guy who jumps when a pigeon flies too close. Did I connect with my primal self? Maybe, if my primal self is someone who is perpetually worried about bugs and sunburn. But I did learn something profound. I learned that we, as a species, have spent so much time and energy trying to conquer nature, to bend it to our will, that we've forgotten how to simply exist within it. Botswana is a powerful reminder that nature doesn't need conquering. It just is. The moral of this story isn't some grand, life-altering epiphany. It's much simpler. It's that there is immense value in feeling small. In a world where we're all trying to be the main character, Botswana quietly reminds you that you are just a tiny part of a much larger, older, and more complex story. Standing on the salt pans under a canopy of a billion stars, watching an elephant gently guide its baby, you understand that the world is not all about you. And trust me, it's a much funnier and more interesting experience.